14th August 1947, it was the eve of India's independence. Hundreds were seated in the Parliament gallery. They were there to witness a historic moment. Jawaharlal Nehru was supposed to take the stage. He would go on to deliver his famous Tryst with Destiny speech.
Long years ago, we made a tryst with destiny.
But the session began with a song, Vande Mataram, sung by Sucheta Kriplani, a freedom fighter, a politician, and the first woman Chief Minister of India. Why are we talking about her today? Because India has come a long way since independence. We've had women leaders, women chief ministers, even a woman prime minister. Yet women representation in politics remains abysmal. At the grassroots level, women are dominating local bodies. But what about the top leadership? In the 1960s, India had one woman chief minister. We talked about her, Sucheta Kriplani. She governed the state of Uttar Pradesh. But now we are in 2024 and India still has only one woman chief minister. 28 states, 8 union territories, yet one top woman leader. Why is that? Why are women missing in the top tier of Indian politics? I'm Palki Sharma and this is Between the Lines. In 1992, the P.V. Narasimha Rao government took a significant step. It passed the 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Acts. And what did they do? They reserved 1/3 of all seats for women in local administrative bodies, what we know as Panchayats. So now 33% of the seats are reserved. Women are elected to these seats. When the law was introduced, it was seen as token gesture. People said it was only for show and that it gave no real power to women. Of course, there was backlash, but the government stayed the course. In the beginning, it made little difference, but over the years, you could see some change. Apart from development, panchayats began focusing on issues that were not discussed earlier, like water, sanitation, cooking fuel, stoves, dowry, sale of liquor, issues that men would tend to overlook and that women brought into focus. Then states took notice of how panchayats were changing. They increased the quota for women. Reservation was supposed to be 30%. 20 states rammed it up and they reserved 50% of the seats for women. Some like Karnataka took it even further. Currently, we have 3.2 million local representatives in India. 1.4 million of them are women, 1.4 million, 86,000 whole leadership positions. 44% of the seats in all local bodies in India are held by women. India is doing better than nations like France, the UK and Germany. In France, it's 40%. In the UK, 34%. In Germany, 27%. In India, 44%. So we are among the best performing nations in this regard. But what happens after that? Women are well represented at the panchayat level. But when you move up the political ladder, the gains begin to crumble. Take the Indian Parliament, for example. Currently, there are 542 members in the Lok Sabha, that's the lower house of Parliament. Only 78 of them are women, that's less than 15%. In the Rajya Sabha, it's around 14%. So representation is low and it is far below the global average. In 2022, female representation in national parliaments across the world was 26.2%. So India is lagging behind. And states have the same problem. At least 17 states have less than 10% women in their legislatures. So what are we doing about it? Technically, it should be a bottom-up approach. More women should join parties, parties should field more women candidates, they should cultivate more women leaders. But that's not working out. Once you go up the hierarchy, women disappear from politics. So the government is trying a tested formula now. Reservation. It worked for the panchayats, it should work for the parliament. That is the hope. Last year, India passed the Women's Reservation Bill. It will reserve 1/3 of all electoral seats for women in the Lok Sabha, in the state assemblies and in union territories. And here's how it works. Imagine a state has 100 seats. 1/3 will be reserved for women. That's around 33 seats. In these seats, only women candidates can contest. They can also contest in others, but these 33 are exclusively for women. Only women can be elected from these seats. But here's the catch. While the bill has been passed, no one knows when it will be implemented. The rollout will take 3 steps. The first is census. India's last census was held in 2011. The next one was supposed to take place in 2021, but it got delayed because of the pandemic. So first, there needs to be a census. The second step would be delimitation, meaning constituencies will have to be redrawn. Only then, in the third step, can women's quota be implemented. And how long will all of this take? The government has not given a timeline, but reports suggest it will happen only after 2029. So it's at least 5 years away, which brings us to the question, why do women not join politics? What's stopping them? We're focusing on India. How can we change that? What is stopping women and how can we change this trend? Since independence, women's participation in politics has been low. Over the decades, as more women got educated, they participated in the workforce, they became more politically aware, and they asserted their electoral right. In 2019, for instance, almost as many women voted as men. It was a great step for equality. But the number of women contesting was nowhere close to men, for many reasons. To fight an election, you need a lot of things: money and political muscle. There's violence and mudslinging. Women are dissuaded from joining the fray. Those who overcome these hurdles face threats, abuse, and personal attacks. And while men face all of it too, there is no denying that women have it worse. Then there are some structural disadvantages. Elections are a time-consuming affair. You need to be away for days campaigning. It can only happen with a supportive family system, something that a lot of women do not have. Others are restricted by their domestic challenges. So that's the structural inequality. Then there are political parties. They talk about winnability. Most believe that women are less likely to win than men. So parties give women fewer tickets. And those who do get tickets often do so through connections. Take the 2019 Lok Sabha elections. 41% of the women candidates were dynasts. 30% of those elected were connected to a political family. It shows you the lack of accessibility for women. You either have to be connected or you have to belong to a political family, and this is despite their strong performance record. A report studied women as legislators. They perform better on most levels. They're better in terms of economics. They're less corrupt. They're less vulnerable to political opportunism, and they're proving to be good leaders. Yet inequality in society are keeping them behind. In an ideal world, they would be given tickets, they would fight and win. But this is not an ideal world. So few women run for office, fewer women win elections, only a handful get top leadership positions. Like we said, India had one woman chief minister in 1964. India has one woman chief minister in 2024. Reservation has helped women at local levels. But can we bring that change to the parliament too? Think about it as you cast your vote this time.